CXM. So the citizen has requested a bulky waste collection, and in our Xform setup we've said that we want to push that case into Jadu CXM, and that raises a case in CXM. What I'm going to show you is how that case can be managed by customer services, and how a third party has a window into that case, but also how the citizen is updated as well. So Sarah's filled out the bulky waste collection form, and as a citizen I would normally just expect for my waste to be collected on the date that I'd specified. I would receive an email that's been sent to me by CXM to confirm those details. In this scenario, we've requested that a cot mattress be collected, and let's say that we've paid for 3 small items to be collected, and remember that there's one more item that we want to be collected. So in the MyAccount page, we can see that the case has been submitted here, and if we click to view more updates, or click to view updates, we can see this case. So what I'm doing here is I'm showing 2 different views of the citizen's case. So on the left-hand side, you have the citizen view of their case, and on the right-hand side, you have the third-party waste collector's view of a case. So in this scenario, we have routed the citizen's case straight to the third-party waste collector, rather than have customer services manage this case. But it could be that customer services manage by exception, so you could have certain cases being routed to customer services. But in this case, we've bypassed customer services and gone straight to the third-party waste collector. And what we'll show you is how the timeline view of a case updates in almost real time. So as a citizen, we will write a message to say, please also collect my toaster. And as you can see, that's where the almost instant chat aspect of CXM is highlighted, and you can see that the third-party view of a case is updated in near real time. You'll also notice that there are different actions that the third-party waste collector has on a case, and that they've also got access to notes and additional information on a case. So you have complete control over who accesses a citizen case, what they can see and what they can do. So if we now expand the view just to be looking from the perspective of the third-party waste collector, as we mentioned, they've got access to notes. So if we add a note, additional item to collect, so we can save that note, and then we can also make that note a case alert. So a blue ribbon appears at the top of the case, and any administrator or internal user who views a case can see that when they click on the case at the top. So if we go back to the timeline, what we can also do is then assign this case to a waste collector, and again, that's, you can configure who can see and who can be assigned to a case. So we will assign this case to the Veolia collection team. So what I'm showing you here is a smaller browser window to essentially show you how CXM is mobile responsive on the left. So the window on the left is how the third-party collector who's out in the field might access the CXM work queue and the CXM case on their mobile device. So the collector can now see that this new case has appeared in her work queue, and she may have received an email alert if we decided to configure one to notify her that there is a new case to action. In the case timeline, you can see that there's essentially notifications when the status of a case changes. So those notifications could be driven by updates from other line of business systems. We're not necessarily looking to replicate the functionality of all of these line of business systems. CXM is almost agnostic as to how the case is managed, but there's powerful case management functionality in CXM as well to go hand in hand with line of business systems. So if I click into the case as a third-party collector, again I can see a number of actions that I can carry out on the case. Highly visible buttons that would show up on a mobile, make it easy to use. I can see the information relevant to the case, so I know which address to go to. I can also see the case note, and I could read that case note, which tells me I need to also collect a toaster. And if I was to click on collection delayed, which is one of the actions I can carry out, let's assume that we're stuck in traffic. That would then update the citizen to tell them that there's been a delay to their bulky waste collection. So the citizen could access the timeline view and see what's going on in their case, but in reality they're probably just happy to receive an email alert, and essentially it's more of the Amazon experience. When you order a package, you just expect it to be collected or be told if there is a delay to your case. Similarly, CXM is well placed to handle more non-linear cases where there's a back and forth, which is where the timeline would become more useful to a citizen who wants to add mitigating circumstances or upload information on a case. So that might be more relevant to parking appeals, to add evidence, to licensing, to those more non-scripted conversational cases. And so the final step of this scenario is to mark the collection as complete. And that brings to an end the journey to close the citizen's case. And this is showing you reporting just on bulky waste collections, but it could also be cross-service across multiple services that you may run. So here we can see the number of the case volume essentially over time, and the number of cases up or down from the previous week, the average time to close a case and whether that's improved, and then a notion of cases closed within the SLA, so you can set a time period by which a case should be closed and monitor how your performance against that. And then also the idea of measuring your cost per case, so we can measure how long a case has been open or in certain stages, and if you have an idea of your cost per man hour, then we can calculate an average cost per case as a crude way of benchmarking your effectiveness at delivering services. Then there's also the ability to track channel shift, so seeing the number of cases that have come in online versus offline. So that shows you how a case can be viewed by a citizen, by a third party, and customer services. Also the idea that we can integrate via web services to back office systems which can push updates to the web timeline view for a citizen. In most transactions, citizens would just expect to receive email alerts. They could be from back office systems or they could be from CXM. And you can define who has access, what they can see, and you can define the workflow and the rules as to how a case is routed to various different teams.